Hey Kyle, it's me, Kyle, from the past. Here to walk you through how to make reduction mugs. Well, I'm not going to show you how to fire the reduction kiln. You'll see. So we start this off like normal, like we do with the rainbow mug video. We are making a 4-pound log, breaking off into 1-pound chunks. Making a nice hockey puck, nice biscuit size. Pretend you're at Popeyes for a moment. Or remember the glory days of Bojangles. All right, so full process on this. It's a bit slow, but it is just a normal mug shape. We're not going to do any of the color slips or anything like that. We are worried purely on the white porcelain to create the indentation. So what you need to do here, cone just like normal, up, down, kind of wakes the clay back up. Grab your sponge and a lot of water. And go ahead and drop your hole. And remember, when you drop the hole, you really just want to go for about a 1/2 inch, 3/4 of an inch left on the bottom of clay. It's a real tricky one to get perfectly right. You normally don't nail it every time, but whatever. After you drop the hole, drag the sides out. This is going to help compress the walls and compress the bottom of the pot, which will help prevent cracking. Now, cracking does happen, but you want less of it. Checking the thickness there, seeing that I, again, went way too thin, leaving clay on the bottom. When you pull up, remember, you're not really like pulling, misnomer. You're really compressing the clay on the inside, and you're squeezing the clay up. Gotta squeeze it up the wall. It might get a little wonk on you. That's fine. We're mainly looking for a sort of vase shape with our mugs, so we can have it flare out up at the lip. That's fine. Just remember to leave quite a bit of clay up there, because when it flares out, if there's not very much clay, it's going to collapse. Yeah, see what I'm saying? It flares out a little bit. It's fine with the mug because we're going to be making basically a giant U anyway. Once you feel like you got enough height, we're going to start shaping from the inside. So again, that U shape that we want, that nice little U, maybe like a lazy V, that's the shape that we want. Don't really need to talk too much about that, but the inside hand is pushing out, the outside hand with the sponge is simply receiving. Now we're grabbing our wooden tool. This is going to help with the shaping quite a bit too. See how when you're pushing in, your hand's kind of jiggling a little bit? That wood's going to stabilize it and make sure it's nice and smooth. This is a fun little thing. It's actually a trimming tool that I don't really use for trimming, but for kind of cleaning up the foot of the mug, makes it so I really don't have to trim much out later whenever it's done. Also, you can use it up the side of the pot to help with the shape. We'll see it on the next mug, Kyle. Hairy knees. All right, so we got our porcelain slip. Remember about making porcelain slip, very simple. You buy porcelain, you dry it out, you turn it into slip. That's really it. You don't really got to do much more than that, all right? Gonna apply quite a bit. We're gonna smooth it out. I mean, you can really go to town with the amount of slip you put on here, Kyle. Like, you can really glorp it up. And those textures will stay. Some of your favorite mugs are like that, where you just put a bunch of porcelain slip on there and just let it kind of drape off. But for this one, we might as well make it a little bit smooth. So you're taking your red rib, and that is going to smooth the whole thing out. It's almost too quick to actually watch. Let's go ahead and take another look at that one. Ugh, it's weird when you see it go that way. So it's kind of improvisational, but I kind of follow a similar thing every time where it's more just bands going on it. It makes it so it has areas to capture the glaze, which is really nice for the reduction pottery. It gives it places to lean onto. Go and clean a little bit more off the bottom. There you go. You got a mug. Well, technically you got a vase. Let's take another look at this though. Slap the clay down, center it real quickly. I should probably pay more attention to how much time I spend centering. Drop the hole. Remember trying to leave 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch of clay at the bottom, which you will not do. That first pull, remember it's a squeeze. Make a little volcano. Make your U shape. Clear off a lot of those throwing lines. Trim the bottom off. And yeah, you can also drag it up the side to help with that. It might seem like I'm losing control of it. I'm not. Porcelain slip. Smooth it out. I think my thumb was hitting. It still works, like even when it gets jacked up. And then you get a little squiggle. Ooh. Those squiggles are really nice later too. So porcelain slip, we still like to do that porcelain slip through a syringe on the bottom technique that you did with the rainbow colors. You can do it with just white. And what it'll do is just give you an intense area of like porcelain to really make the glaze pop on the bottom of the mug. Also, it just gives you a little bit more texture, a little bit more wavy, a little bit more swirly, things that you like, you know. So when trimming the bottom, we like the 4 plugs. Not going to show you the video where the mug flew off of the wheel because the 4 plugs were not down well enough. And we already did most of the trimming, right? We already did most of it. So right now, all we got to do is we got to clean it up a little bit. That's it. Just give it a little clean. I like to carve a little foot in there, like Land Before Time. So that way it's just an easier place for me to wax later. So don't forget, Kyle. You alternatively don't have to do this apparently. But whenever I do, the bottom cracks or it's all wavy, my mug's lean. You might as well just do it. It only takes like 2 minutes, so. Using a sponge that's damp, we can kind of smooth out some of those chattering marks that happens with the grog from the stoneware clay. Give it a nice little smooth little burnish using that red rib. Also keep track of your red rib this year, please, Kyle. You lost it last year. I'm gonna buy another one. All right, so applying a little bit of porcelain slip down before you use a syringe full of slip. That's going to help it grip onto its friends, you know? Give a little tap. Tap, tap. Another band on. That's going to make it so there's 2 bands. You can do this with the color slip too, Kyle. Just a reminder. Look at that. You can also tap it the other way, upside down, and it'll make it start dripping back. But I don't really have video of that. That's just something you need to remember that you can do. Another viewpoint of it. Well, a different one, I should say. Yeah, all the same process. Just wanted to give you another angle on it. Porcelain slip, syringe. Let's get another look at that last syringe. You want to smooth out where that foot's going to go. All right, so just quick reminder, you like to put little pranks on people on the bottom of the mugs. You got these transfer decal papers. They're silk screened on. These are little bees or flies. So you wet the clay, put the paper slip side down, give it a little tap, let it wait. Try not to move it around too much. Burnishing here with that red. That's a useful tool, that red rib. Get it to dry up a little bit quicker. Dry up a little bit faster. Using your fettling knife, you can drag it off, and voila. When someone drinks out of this mug, they're going to be, the person sitting across from them is going to think there's a fly on it, and they're going to smack it out of their hands. All right, extruding some handles. Clay goes in the die. Pinch off about, what is that, 13 inches or so? It doesn't matter. So this is going to change from mug to mug, but you like to kind of repeat the same length and then cut them down later. Just makes it easier so that way they have time to stiffen up before you actually put them on the mug. We are a C-shaped mug family here, okay? We don't do the ear-shaped ones. We do the C-shaped. Goes in about 2 knuckles in. Perfect for a handle. Anybody's handle is going to be great because of it. Serrated rib. Go ahead and rough up the surface for slipping and scoring. Here's our beautiful slip that we get from the bottom of the bucket. It's aged to perfection. So this isn't the actual slipping and scoring part. We're using this to mark where we want the handle to go. Boop, boop. Those little ridges make it a lot easier for you to blend these out too, Kyle. So now we see the slips there. We can go ahead and scrape it up. Scrape, 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 scrape. Gloop it up with a little bit of that slip. And then plop that handle right back in. This time applying some pretty even pressure. We want to have it connect first before we start any of the smoothing process. All right, Kyle? All right, now you want to smooth the joints just a little bit. This will help kind of compress it a little bit too. Make sure that there's no cracks. There will be a crack. You'll fix it. You'll see. Really get where it connects in there. You want that part to be smooth because it will shrink at a different rate. The handle's fresh clay. The clay body is more of a leather hard, so it'll shrink at a different rate. So the better you do a job sealing this now, the less chance it'll crack later. Taking a little bit of time on this to really show you how to be patient. You need to take your time with this. All right, once you feel good about it, you can kind of muck with the handle a little bit, straighten it up. For some reason, I decided to do this way. But yeah, it's also interesting to see how big these mugs are before they're fired. Pretty big boys. Don't look at the left side of the board. There's spoilers in it. But when we dry them, we were going to put them face down on the rims. All the handles pointing in towards other handles. That's very important. So if you're making other mugs, great. If you want them to face in towards each other, that'll help with moisture. It'll make them dry a lot better. Loosely cover the whole thing up. And give it a little kiss. All right. So this process right here, the sanding using the scrubby pad, can really help get rid of a lot of those tiny little cracks and help them fill in. You can also use a pencil to help with that too, but you might as well use a combination of both. But yeah, this is your opportunity to really smooth things out, smooth it. All right, get them dried out and bisque fired. Take them out of the bisque. And here we go. We need to give them a quick little rinse, quick little bath because they're all dusty from the bisque firing. Give them a nice waxed foot. This will make glazing a lot easier later. Use the banding wheel in the back of the studio. Also, don't put them face down ever. I don't know why you were like that. Here's a little action. Here, a little kicking action. So you can see what it looks like on the other side and why your right foot hurts so much after doing this for like an hour. So you're just leaning on it. Here we got that Pete Pinnells that we're going to be firing a Cone 9, Cone 10 reduction. And by we, I mean mainly Todd handles that. We're not a big fan of big gas fires, but first thing you need to do is you need to get your glaze woken back up. There's a lot of particulates. Been settling. You need to wake them back up, put them back to work, spin them in a blender. Do that for as long as it feels like you don't get resistance. That's probably the good way of thinking about it. So we're going to go through a few here, but let's go first with the gold and red combo. So first you take the red, pour it in. We're going to hold it for about 6 seconds inside the cup. Give it a little wiggle towards the end. Yeah, that's going to make it so it just matches up a little bit more. And then fresh from that, we are going to dip the lip straight into the color. Now, sometimes you want to dip it a little bit more than you did on this one, but whatever. Hold that also for about 4 or 5 seconds. We're going to be putting a lot of glaze on there, so it actually, if you go under, it's fine. Now for the body on this one, we're going to use the Goldman reduction glaze. It is nice. It gives you a nice bright sparkle when it hits the sun of just these little crystals inside of the glaze. Same thing as before, wake the glaze up, wake. Then you're going to hold the pot from the inside, kind of expanding your hand to create pressure. And then when you push it in the glaze is actually going to give you a lot of resistance, Kyle. A lot of resistance. Once you're done, get yourself a little sponge, wipe its bottom off. Oh, I don't like how that sounds. But that wax is going to make this a lot easier. This is optional, Kyle. But in this one, we're going to put a little ring of black up top. A nice Tomoku. We have a few different blacks here at U of E. We're going to primarily focus on this Tomoku for this video. Tomoku? But same thing, just a tap. That was more than a tap, Kyle. Gosh. And then we have this kind of activating glaze, Rutile blue, mainly Rutile. It's a lot of flux in it too. Put that on the lip of basically everything we make to make it mwah, a little finishing touch. There's also never much Rutile left either. All right, let it drip. It's going to take a while. You got to dry in between each stage on this, Kyle. It's going to take a while. This is what it looks like when it's done. A little bit too much black on this one, kind of obscured some of the color, but that brilliant oxblood red on the inside is gorgeous. Now we're going to take a look at almost the exact same thing, but with a yellow oxide glaze. I like this because it gives huge iron deposits into the glaze that make it seem like the clay body is like sinking away from you. So Pete Pinnell's, hold for 6 seconds on the inside. I promise this is a different video. It all kind of looks the same though. Dump it out. The lip, again, sometimes it helps to make it go farther down. This yellow with the Berman's white is very awesome too. So don't forget that one. What else? We got some good combos. That's really it. That's the ones we like for reduction. We like to look dirty and red. Here's a Ferguson's yellow. So yeah, it's going to look like Neapolitan ice cream by the time it's done. It does not taste like Neapolitan ice cream, unfortunately. I don't know who to talk to about that. Give it a little dunk, 5-6 seconds, push down. It's like a boat floating in the ocean. Wipe, 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 wipe. And we're going to dip the lip here in this Temuku. I'll never know how to say it. But this glaze really got to be woken up. You have to blend it every single time. Should be a little tap. You dipped it so far in, Kyle. Why did you go so far in? But you can do just the yellow and the red. It's cool too. It's cool. I was just really into black that day, you know? Just everything had to get black on the lip. And then, of course, the Rutile giving it a nice little kiss. Mwah. Dip it in for a little bit. And that's how that one looks like. See, you dip the black in really far and it was about to run towards the end. But you have these nice crystals popping out of the black. It's gorgeous. All right, here's another glaze combo you really like, and I think we'll be done for the day. So this is the LM Blue Matte, Les Miley Blue Matte, glaze invented by Les Miley. It works in oxidation or reduction, basically the same. Reduction, it's a little bit smokier, like a little bit more translucent. Dip it in your whole thing. So get some tongs, dip it in for about 6 seconds. Draft a little bit, wipe the bottom. Now these take a long time to do. So a nice hot day is great. You can put them on a board and you can take them outside so they can dry a little bit faster. Generally speaking, when you glaze, Kyle, it is raining outside. Every single time. This is the Mamo or Mamo, M-A-M-O. I hate it on almost everything. It's miserable color. But for some reason, on this, it is beautiful. And it depends on the amount of reduction we get in the kiln, you know. But this white kind of turns like a lavenderish sort of like snowfall. That's the only way I can describe it, and it's gorgeous. Makes the whole mug look like a mountain in a snowstorm. Ugh. But also like a tidal wave. Glazing about halfway up the pot on that one too. You want to give it room for that lavender snowstorm to form. Now it doesn't go lavender every time. Most of them it's just kind of white. But when it does that like slightly purplish, pinkish blush from the Rutile here running down the side, it looks like this. So you can see what I'm saying there, right? Once you get them all glazed, you're going to go ahead and load them into this Cone 9 reduction kiln. I don't have video unloading it or loading it because that thing scares me. But here's how some of them turn out. This is that blue with mamo, but with black on the very lip. Looking nice. And this is one with the slips on the bottom run through the kiln. So they lose a little bit of their luster, but they still do exist, Kyle. All right, don't forget, there's a lot more combos out there. You just need to find them. Until next time.